Hello, and welcome to the third season of Sunday Sweet Chats. My name is Charles K. Carter, and I'm a queer poet who currently lives in Oregon. I'm the author of several poetry collections, including The God of Loneliness from Rebel Satori Press and Follow This Blood to Find a Dead Thing, which is coming soon from Fernwood Press. But that's enough about me. Let's talk about our sweet guest today and discuss some sweet, sweet poetry. Hello, Bryan. I'm so excited to have you here today. Would you like to introduce
Hi,
yourself to our audience?
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I am Bryan Borland. I am coming to you today from Little Rock, Arkansas, where I live with my husband and our dogs and our cat who thinks she's a dog. I run Sibling Rivalry Press, an independent publishing house that I founded back in 2010, and I'm a poet myself. I've got a few books. I'm launching this year two new ones that have sort of exploded into existence. A little chapbook called Crow in the Desert, which is playful and a little bit dirty, a little bit scandalous, and then the more sweet Brotherful, which really encompasses um, the parts of me that pushed me to be a poet. I lost my brother when I was 13. I started writing after he died. That's where the name of the press Sibling Rivalry comes from because I competed with his ghost. I competed with his memory sort of for the attention of my parents. And Brotherful takes a look back at what my life would have been like had he stayed with me, had he survived, and how I have in some ways used his death to shape my life, and kind of looks at the morals and the ethics of that. So I'm excited to get it out into the world. I'm excited to talk about it with you, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah, I've had the pleasure to read it already. It's beautiful. Um, all right. I always ask this one. What's a favorite sweet treat of yours when you have those sugary cravings?
This is every day of my life, every moment of my life. It's my weakness. It's my kryptonite. Um, chocolate. Chocolate, anything. I would just slather it all over myself if I could. I have, but we're not going to talk about that. Um, yeah, I'm a chocolate boy, but really anything sweet. I have no willpower. I have that's just my thing. It's my jam.
Don't blame you there. All right. Won't tempt you anymore, though. Let's move away from the sweet treats. Let's get into some sweet, sweet poetry. You have a poem to read for us today. Go for it.
Yeah. So this poem, the my favorite poems that I write. I kind of write two different ways. One, you kind of chisel and work and maybe sometimes workshop a poem and revise a poem into existence. And that's one type of poem. And they can get certainly to a place that I respect them and love them for me. There's another kind of poem that just comes. It just arrives. I believe in this collective creative consciousness. I think it swirls around all of us. I feel like we can just reach up and pull art down into our lives, step in the flow of it, and we can create. That's how this poem came into existence. Sat down, the words just came, no revision. Had a nephew on the way. I was excited. I sat in a parking lot of like this donut shop. I had a chocolate donut and or two or three. And he was it was October. He was due to be born in the following spring. And here is to Oliver, not yet born. Listen, kid, I'm going to let you in on a secret I want you to put in your pocket and carry with you all your life. You are loved. Before you are even here, you are loved. This family loves you before we know anything about you, before we know the color of your hair, the sound of your voice, or what the weight of you feels like in our arms. This family loves you. And this family will love you as much tomorrow as it does today. In whatever future you arrive in and exist in, no matter who you become or how you grow, this family loves you. This family loves you no matter the choices you'll make, the clothes you put on your body, or what that body can or cannot do. We'll love you through wins and losses, good days and bad, mistakes and disappointments, through every decision you make, whoever you love or don't, whatever you make of this life that is wholly and completely yours. This family loves you. Put this certainty in your pocket, kid, or bury it like treasure. The map to it is in your heart, in your memory, in the face you'll see in the mirror none of us have seen yet. Return to it when you need it. Look yourself in the eyes, whatever color they are, and say it like a magic spell to summon us around you, even when we are not there. Say these words. Say, I am loved just as I am.
Thank you so
His
much.
his eyes are blue. His eyes are blue.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank
mean,
you.
what I want and what I want with that poem. I was thinking about what I wanted to hear, what I would have liked to hear when I was 8, 9, 10, um, what I still want to hear sometimes. And I wanted to give him something that he can carry with him that will outlive me. I wanted to give him a magic spell. I think about the people that I've lost in my life, my brother, my father. I think about how I carry things of theirs. I have both of their wallets. I have, you know, things that they touched. I have this image of my father's heart that was taken for a medical appointment, and I found it. And I just have these things, and I hold on to them, and I feel them. I wanted to give Oliver something that it actually speaks. And he's got it hanging in his room. It's framed, and he'll have it for his entire life. And it's but it's not just for him. It's for anybody. It's his name's in the title, but it's for anybody who needs to feel that unconditional love. Um, I think that's what our world needs.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm kind of a little teary and emotional because Brian asked me ahead of time. He's like, pick the poem you want to read. And I picked that one because that one really resonated hard with me. I'm pretty open about my mental health struggles, and I've had a lot going on. And I think that's one I really needed at the moment when I read this, and you reading that now. I think it's a poem that a lot of us need. So thank you for not only bringing that to the world for Oliver, but for all of us who could use that.
It's my pleasure. The beautiful thing about poetry to me, I was watching this great lecture from my friend Kava Akbar. He was talking about spirituality and poetry, and he got this look in his eyes, and he looked up. It looked like he was about 10 years old, and he was talking about what poetry does for him, and he said it changes the air around him. And when I read that poem, I sort of come out of myself and I feel this energy and I feel this electricity in my arms, and it makes the hair on my arms stand up. And I feel it up and down my spine. It's not about me, it's about that connection. It's about that moment that you can change the air around somebody else. And you can write, it can be a lonely practice to write.
Mhm.
And it can be a lonely practice to have a book. It can be a lonely practice to go on a book tour. You'll show up, and sometimes there'll be a giant crowd of 10 people, and sometimes there'll be, it's just you. But I tell people, don't be afraid if nobody shows up. You've shown up. And you've put something out into the world. You've raised these poems. You are a parent to these poems. You've raised these poems, you've pushed them out into the world. You may never know the impact a line of poetry you've written will have on somebody else. I was the kid who would tear pages of books from the library if there was something that spoke to me. I'm talking about Ginsberg or something that might have been, I would have been too ashamed when I was really young to check out. They might find out I'm gay. Um, I would rip a page out and put it in my pocket, or I'd steal the book somehow, and the alarms wouldn't go off somehow. I always was protected by queer angels. But, you know, the highest compliment I can ever receive is when somebody tells me that one of my books or a book that I've published through SRP has been stolen from a library. Can we please replace it? I'll send like 10 copies absolutely for free. Like, steal our books, steal my book, rip the pages out, like put them under the bed, hide them, like tattoo the words on you. Um, like, do whatever you got to do. And to use those words like a magic spell, it gets you through to the next thing in your life, to the next day, to the next moment. That's what poetry is for me. It's life saving. It saved my life.
Thank you so much. So good. Words of
I
wisdom.
turned pre man. I turned preacher. I can't help it. I this is my church. This is my spirituality. This is us being connected. That's it. And if it strips down the walls and makes you feel something, that's what it's about for me.
I'm feeling it. So you talked a little bit about, I mean, quite a bit about Brotherful, a little bit about your chapbook. Would you want to talk about more of those, or I know you've got something else exciting coming out up this fall too.
Yeah, let me mention the third thing, which is really one of the things that put Sibling Rivalry Press on the map was a journal of gay poetry. Uh, the correct pronunciation out of my mouth is emphasis on the first syllable, Asarakis. That's not really how you're supposed to pronounce the word. It's Saracus in Greek mythology, but in my language, it's Asarakis because I love making librarians say that. But it was a journal that had 10 gay poets and 10 poems from those 10 gay poets originally. So what you got was a portfolio of work from these poets. And you really got to know um, the style of writing. And I would publish varied and diverse voices. And it was important for me, and this was the key to the success of the press. We published never before published writers and elders, people that were writing using their real names in the late 60s and the 70s when it was really dangerous for them to do that. Um, and remembered their stories and gave them a space when the publishing industry had forgotten them. We published people from the middle of the country when at the time you kind of had to be from LA or New York to make it in poetry. So we just published everybody, and I'm a very light-handed editor. I do not go in and change people's work very often. My rule is basically do no harm, don't hurt anybody, and now my rule is don't make me edit or you do the layout on a poem that's like a shape. Like, y'all can do that all you want, but I am not going to sit down on my InDesign and figure out how to make your poem look like a flamingo. I cannot do it. That's like I'm bringing it back, but I'm not going to do that. but um, but we ran the journal through January of 2017 and retired it after 25 issues. The 25th issue was a protest issue against Trump's first inauguration. And after that, I put all the energy that I had into our full length collections at SRP, and uh, didn't really think that we needed to do the journal anymore. Other people had started spaces that sort of were emulating it and providing uh, voice and microphones and stages for these artists. So I let other people do it. But time's passed, and I think it's necessary again. Uh, we need all the microphones and stages we can get, and that's what I want to do. It's going to be a little grittier. It's not something that's going to be a ladder. It's not something that's going to be corporate. It's not something that necessarily somebody will want to put on their resume because I don't want to do that anymore. Uh, that's sort of the reason I took a little bit of a break from Sibling Rivalry Press. We had started off gritty and underground and punk, and then we became part of the machine that originally we were trying to break because we got really successful, which I'm very proud of. But what happens when you get successful is um, you become part of that structure, and you have to do certain things. You have to go to this conference. You have to market in this way. You have to watch what you say, and uh, that's done. So if I'm stepping back into the world of the literary journal, it's going to be gritty and underground and punk like I originally intended it. And the system that I helped build, I'm going to break it. And I'm going to have fun doing it because I think that's what we need right now. We need people who aren't scared to break the system. I look around and I see people bending the knee to whatever this thing is we have going on in this country. I will not bend the knee. I may be forced to the ground, but I'm not going to ever bend the knee. And not to get too political, but I don't think you can separate that from art right now at this moment. I've got a platform, I've got a loyal following, and I'm going to use them. And I'm going to use them fearlessly, and I'm going to use them to lift people up. Now, it's a journal of gay poetry, and it is going to be coming back into print probably around October. Uh, and it's but the gay poetry, I think I'll keep that title, but it's not going to be exclusive to gay men. It'll be more of the queer umbrella, and the sort of the guidelines I'm going to use is if you feel you belong, you belong. So I'm certainly not going to police anybody's identity. Let's just do this together and have one big queer poetry party. But like I said, not a ladder. It's not going to get you tenure. Not that there's anything wrong with that, make that money, but that's not the kind of independent press I'm interested in running anymore. I'm interested in messy. I'm interested in fighting censorship. I'm interested in collective action and doing all we can to protect marginalized communities and amplifying their voices. So that's how I'm going to use the rest of my life. Uh, that's the plan. So I hope anybody watching wants to join and help us do it. Nothing we do is exclusive to LGBTQ folks. So we just want people who are passionate and want to fight the good fight and want to uplift people with kindness and compassion and connection. That's what drives me, and all are welcome. So let's do it.
You so much. I love hearing that. Love hearing the fight, the good fight. All right. Um, our last question. You kind of touched on this a little bit, but let's hear a little more. So there are a lot of salty powers that be in the world, obviously. So what keeps you grounded? What keeps you sweet in this world?
Moments of connection and sometimes unexpected moments of connection. So I'm coming to you from Arkansas, and I had in mind kind of the cover art I wanted for this first issue back of Asarakis, and I was looking and looking and looking, um, and came across this post on Instagram and knew it when I saw it. You know the cover art you want for something when you see it. You just know it. So I saw this image, which I think by the time this airs, it'll probably be up. But what I'll say is, it does recall the first issue of Asterakis. The first issue of Asterakis had a naked man, rear view on a subway. He's got Wonder Woman boots, and there's this woman looking at him, looking at his front side, which you can't see, and she's shocked. And he's got his little Wonder Woman cowboy boots, and there's his bare booty. So it's perfect for Asterakis. And I wanted something to recall that, and I did find something to recall that, and it's this amazing photograph, which you'll see. Um, so I reached out to the artist. I didn't know anything about the artist, the photographer. God sent him like very excited. I sent him like 20 messages in a row because when I get excited, I just go. Maybe you can tell that. Um, and this is me on Prozac, by the way. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It calms me down a little. This is me calm. But anyway, um, so I reached out. I reached out to this photographer, and he wrote back, and we talked. And he's in San Francisco, and we had a rapport, and I had sort of this kind of like this spiritual connection, and bonded over some things, and talked for a little while. Um, and I asked him if I could buy the rights to the photograph and for this purpose, and he said yes. And so I did that, got the photograph, and I told him, okay, I will help you write like a bio. I want to make sure we have something, that represents you in the journal. People are going to love your work, so let's make sure you're represented well there, because he didn't really have a website yet, and uh, needed help on the bio. So he told me some facts about him, and one of the things that he said was, "I grew up in Arkansas." Well, he had no idea. I'm writing this from, I'm texting him from Arkansas, and he grew up uh, about an hour north of where I am now. That's crazy. And his brother and his nephew lives an hour southwest where my mom lives, and there's all this connection. And he's got this amazing story, and it was just a little reminder. Oh, and his name's Bryan with a Y too, which was cool. But it was just a reminder of all the pieces of art, of all the photographs, of everything on the internet. I stop on that one, and I have a spiritual connection to the photo too, and I'll probably write about that in Asterakis when I publish it, just so people know it. But there's this photograph, and it just spoke to me. And then there's this connection, this is geographic connection, and then he's got this story, and there's so many things I'm not even going into. All this connection. That's how it happens. That's what carries me, and it happened all the time with Sibling Rivalry Press. It happened all the time with my poetic life. Just those little nudges from the universe, or big nudges from the universe, big shoves from the universe, reminding us of that connection, that we are not in this alone. We're in it together. As hard as it is, there's people cheering you on. And that support, that love, that energy, that connection, those bridges, they're right there. They're right there. Just have to open yourself up and have the courage to let yourself acknowledge them. And if you do that, you can access that love and access that power and access that opportunity. That's what it's all about.
Thank you so much. It's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for being here today, Bryan. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's been such a sweet treat to have you. Um, Stay tuned next week for another episode of Sunday Sweet Chats, next Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Catch you later.